being that I am a paid professional, let's see if I can get through this entire thought without dropping a single F-bomb like that last guy did. So I mentioned early in the show, I try not to drop C-bombs. I try not to overuse the word choke, because to me, choke is about the harshest thing you could say about any team or any athlete, other than the Q word, quitter. I always think first before I bust out either one of those things. I always think before I call somebody or a team or a group a choke or chokers. It's almost a reason to go. So I think about it. And I thought about it. And I'm going to use the hell out of the word choke today because it absolutely is appropriate when it comes to the Detroit Tigers. Because they're in the midst of one of the all-time choke jobs, one of the biggest choke jobs ever. If the Lions shocked everybody Monday night by outperforming expectations, then the Tigers have been shocking everybody for weeks by not meeting expectations and by choking and gagging and retching. Even worse than my man Bodie, who nearly choked to death on his own spit back in the day when he went ba 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 well ba. That's you right now, Tigers. That's all of you. That's an entire clubhouse of guys saying, well, and unlike Bodie, who earned himself a flat screen back in the day for that, you're not getting that, Tigers, if you finish this off. That's what you call gagging. That's the sound of a team gagging a 15-and-a-half game divisional lead in the second half of the season. 15-and-a-half games. Gonzo. Disappeared. Evaporated. Vanished. Right into thin air. Detroit vaporized, as Otis would say. Vaporized. You don't have that, Alvy. Vaporized. That's weak, Alvin. So Detroit had a 15-and-a-half game lead on July 8th. They still had a 10-and-a-half game lead on September 1st. They even had a 9-and-a-half game lead on September 10th. 2 weeks later, somehow, some way, it is now a 0-game lead. Vaporized. Better. In fact, it's even worse because the Guardians just ripped the tiebreak too. So Detroit is actually now looking up at Cleveland in the division standings. It's incredible. It's impossible. There have only been 5 cases where a team blew a lead of 12 and a half or more games. But none of those choke artists ever had a lead as big as 15 and a half games. In other words, if the Tigers do finish off this gag job, it will be the biggest gag job in MLB history. And judging by last night, it certainly looks like they're hell-bent on making history. Man, it was just so perfect. So perfect that they started a series against the Guardians, a.k.a. the team that has run them down. And the good news for Detroit was, or so they thought, they had their dude. They had their horse. Man, they had their dog on the mound. They had Skubal going. And that's exactly the guy you want on the bump to stop the bleeding, stop the gagging. And it was going so well, too. Skubal was doing Skubal-type things, locking Cleveland up through the first 5. And then we hit the inning, which could very well go down in Tiger infamy, when Detroit imploded in a way that perfectly symbolizes and epitomizes their last few weeks. Now, considering the situation and the dude on the mound and the historic comeback in progress, this has to be one of the more wild disaster sequences, wildest disaster sequences I've ever seen, really in any sport, but certainly in baseball. To blow this game like this is shocking, even in the midst of this historic implosion. What I'm saying is, I didn't think even the Tigers had this in them. And maybe the craziest part of all is the ball never once left the infield. If you're watching on the stream, you have to see this. Roll it.
Kwon 0 for 2. He bunts. And it's going to be perfect bunt. Dingler won't get a handle on it.
Beautiful stuff.
And Kwon is aboard to start. He's showing bunt. Bunts it up the first baseline. Skubal off the mound. Oh, he threw it over the head of the first baseman. Untell's on his way to second. Kwon into third. He'll stop there. Slow chopper up the third baseline. McKinstry's only play is at first. He has no play. It's an infield RBI single. It gets away. Here comes the tying run on the wild pitch. Oh, Jose was almost off. He balked him to third.
He balked.
Yes, he did, and that's what he did.
2-1 pitch. Slow chopper to first. That'll get the go-ahead run home. 3-2 Cleveland.
Like these bunts, it's like bunt, swinging bunt, balk, like all cue shots, like all off the end of the bat. Nothing squared up, nothing hit hard, nothing out of the infield. Balk. All that damage. Listen, I know Skubal is that guy. He's about to win his second straight Cy Young. There's a damn good reason for that. But my dude, the hell are you thinking going long snapper in that spot? Given the seriousness of the moment, the unseriousness of hiking the ball through your legs is unbelievable. What are we doing? I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? What a perfect image to demonstrate just how ass the Tigers have been. The Tiger ace bent over, ass in the air, getting ready to airmail a long snap with the season on the line. What a perfect meme. What a freaking disaster. But it's suddenly starting to make a little more sense to me, right? It's starting to make a little more sense as to how this team has lost 7 straight and 10 of 11. Meanwhile, let's give the Guardians their credit. They've won 11 of 12, 16 of 18. They ripped the tiebreaker last night, and they now have all the mo in the world. But maybe the craziest thing about that clip, is I didn't even include the craziest thing that happened in that inning. Somehow Skubal, going all three-point stance with it and hiking the ball into right field, wasn't even as crazy as what happened to David Fry when it was still a 2-1 game. And just a disclaimer, because this is going to be very graphic in nature, because this dude is about to get drilled right in his face with a 99-mile-per-hour piece of heat.
He squares. He tried to bunt, and it hit the bat and then hit him in the face. Or did it hit him square in the face?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. It's not good.
Skubal threw his hat and glove down as soon as he threw the pitch and saw what happened.
Listen, before you say, like the announcer said, did it hit the bat or did it hit him square in the face? Before you say, the hell doesn't matter, it actually does matter. And I'll tell you why in a minute, which makes this all even more incredible. But in terms of that actual play, same inning, by the way, forget helping that dude pick his teeth up. Somebody help that dude pick his entire face up. If he still has a face. He still has a face, right?
Right in my face.
That face didn't get eviscerated like that Randy Johnson bird, did it? His face didn't get vaporized. There it is. Thankfully, my man got up under his own power. Incredibly so. Tough, man. Tough as hell. Seems to be okay. And looking at his picture of that flattened face, we're showing it on the stream right now, I have no idea how he is okay. My man's face is flat. Of course it's flat.
Right in my face.
Like his face isn't even there. It's like Face Off, the movie. But it looks like that pitch did take his face clean off. Now, here's the incredible part. Aside from that happened, and it happened in that same inning. Incredibly, it was ruled a foul tip on a bunt attempt and not a hit by pitch. In other words, do not take first base, get back in the batter's box. It's a strike. Only he couldn't get back in the batter's box because he was too busy picking thousands of pieces of his face off the ground, scattered around home plate, where it had exploded after being hit by a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. So then the Guardians had to send up a pinch hitter to finish the at-bat. He strikes out. So dude sacrificed his face, and it didn't actually help Cleveland come back and take the lead that inning. But they did. They did come back and take that lead that inning. And thank goodness, because my man sacrificed his face. But again, how did they do that? Bunt single, absurd error, infield single, wild pitch, balk, fielder's choice. That all brought home the go-ahead and eventually game-winning run. One of the craziest things ever. One of the craziest collapses ever. And the only good news for the Tigers is there is another game today. They've got 2 more shots at the Guardians, and then they've got a 3-game series with the Red Sox. So it's not too late yet to avoid going down as the biggest chokers ever.